this is Gloria Kins, and I'm speaking for the producer of World Peace, Mr. George Wen, who is delighted to host you, and also your UN representative, Mr. Toshi Murata, based at the UN year-round. And I know that you always have a really big annual conference as president of OCCAM every year at the UN, sponsored officially by the Italian delegation through the years. Can I ask you, Mr. Pierpaolo Sanporito, one, it's an Italian organization. The initials are good anywheres, OCCAM, but could you explain what the initials stand for? Because in the UN, everything is FAO, WHO, SDGs, but our audience are not all affiliated with the UN. So please explain OCCAM and what OCCAM represents, where you're based in Milan, sponsored by the government of Italy.
OCCAM is an observatory for digital communication. It was created by UNESCO 25 years ago, and we are focused on the analyzing and finding solution on the digital event, digital revolution which affect our society. In 20 years, we see a lot of change. Also, the generation are changed, and now we have in the center of this evolution. So, OCCAM, the observatory, is affiliated to UN, takes charge of this, and in particular, how to fight the poverty with the new technologies.
I know that you successfully set up the startup already 20 years ago of intelligent cities. You worked with Honduras in Latin America. Can you say what you did in Honduras when you set up your early technology in the in one major city of Honduras?
Yes, we started in Tegucigalpa with the Minister of Technology, and in particular was a great emergency by the Hurricane Mitchell, who affected a lot of villages. And that village was completely destroyed. So our intervention was, first of all, after the rescue, to give solar energy, and after also to assist them in terms of education, in terms of health, by the internet, using the first satellite that year. We say 2001, so it was very primordial activities, and the result achieving that application was so appreciated that in the UN they asked to explain, to illustrate that. So in that occasion, born the Info Poverty World Conference, which every year make the point about the results and how we can improve and fight the poverty using this new technology of communication and so on.
You also worked very closely with the past president of Madagascar. And what is interesting is you're Italian and your country's involved. Madagascar at the time was under the French protectorate, and I believe now with the same country, you're now working together with the new president, and that there's a tendency more to English, or what language are you working in now?
Our organization is not national, so we have just with us important Japanese representative is our permanent representative. We have from all over the world collaborators, and Africa in particular, also in the United States. So in that sense, we was invited by the president during the forum, the summit of Information Society in Tunis, 2005, and that we planned with him to create a special village with all the application, in particular telemedicine, and the school, e-learning, a lot of that. We have, you can see in the Wikipedia about, and was so huge feedback by the population that the UN delegation came chaired by Jeffrey Sachs, and was proclaimed these villages, Sambaina villages in Madagascar, as Millennium Village. It's still working now.
Today, with this new technology now, you're looking to have sophisticated cities, but also to worry about the rural areas of these major cities, the villages in Africa, Latin America, and all over the world. The rural villages are getting poorer and more desperate and not able to have as much communication as the big cities. And your technology could help those smaller areas and rural villages become intelligent cities, much more intelligent, even if it's one machine in the square where all the people can go and at least send some kind of message to their relatives all over the world, with the moving diaspora and the refugees moving all over. How do you see helping those rural villages with your technology?
Well, now all the attention of the investor, also the technology, is on the smart city. Smart city means a kind of a new deal, a new dream of the old technologists, self-driving car, domotics. It's incredible, fascinating announcement. But what happens if will be so great application? This application will be driven by artificial intelligence, and that means an automatic mechanism, where for sure only a little part of the population, the most wealthy people, will take advantage of this. If we consider the town have enormous slums, a lot of population living under the dignity, that is a big danger for the world itself, because now we have quite 60% of population in the town.
There's a young population now that are very unhappy and creating sometimes radical thoughts. Your communication and your effort to back them up with better technology and a better life and possibility to get jobs should help, shouldn't it, with all this younger generation?
Well, the communication system is not driving by, so it's autonomous in some ways. The user don't drive themselves, and also the market follow the tendencies. And the young generation discover very new thing about, and we don't know what will happen, because now it's 12 years old, they are just an expert. But they have no consciousness of what is the life, society, the value. In that sense, we try to understand what will be more use for them in terms of utilitaristic response, and in terms also to select, to achieve the skills, because to have a job, or to create a job, you need to have a skills, maybe very new skills we don't have now, and to have that attention means to be against a use in terms of gadget, in terms of games, in terms of lose time. And this is the great challenge, because a lot of companies take our time off. They rubber our time, and mostly for the young generation. And that means to empty mind and to give some dream without any substances. If this process is not arrive with some new vision of the emerging society, digital society, that will cause a lot of change, political, also in the religion, in the society, and in the economy. You know, maybe will disappear the money with the blockchain, etc., etc. That is the challenge. It's in the end of the young generation, of course.
For medicine, you have virtual technology, and I think that's important today, because there are not sufficient doctors today in the emerging world and in these rural areas, and basically some of them on the border of the jungles. Still, with virtual technology, somebody who's extremely ill or who needs an operation can, with one doctor in the whole area, be able to service thousands of people for emergencies. How are you handling that? Are you doing it with European technology, American technology? How is this being directed?
This was the first action we done, very easily from one side, very sophisticated for the other. Easy because we have just a lot of tools to detect. Even a photograph by the telephone is useful. Now there are a lot of gadgets or sensors that can detect a lot of illness. We use ultrasound, we use also blood tests, etc. So there's a lot of solutions in the market, but they are not integrated. And the problem, you're right, in Africa, the people die for nothing because they don't know the remedy. It's really a shame, because when we apply that and the nurse or the midwife just using that instrument to detect.
She can do it with her cell phone. She can hold up the patient who's suffering with her cell phone. Yes. And then it will go, where will it go? To Europe? To Asia? It's
linked with the local hospital, and our platform linked with the university and the hospital is work as a second opinion.
which is very important if somebody's seriously ill.
Yeah.
I would like now, you have a representative for your organization, OCCAM, at the United Nations, Mr. Toshi Murata. And Mr. Toshi Murata used to be one of the key people of food and agriculture. And I believe he could discuss how this new technology could help agriculture.
Yeah. Today, with chairman, we met with a couple of UN officials, and we discussed our Info Poverty World Conference has provided as chairman.
Now, I'm interrupting you, but let's tell them, and you're referring to the importance of the people you met with today at the UN, related to the Info Poverty World Conference, which will take place, I believe it's in room 12 of the United Nations, sponsored by the mission of Italy. And the reason I'm interrupting, if you'll forgive me, is to let people know, and we can let them know later, if they would like to possibly attend this conference, some professors or attorneys or distinguished individuals listening to this program, that they can then send an email to you. We'll tell them later, so they can attend on Friday at the United Nations at this conference. That's
and
what
UN TV.
At the UN. But in the meantime, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Toshi Murata, but it was that the people realized with all of this talk, they can themselves come to the conference and get involved with their various companies or law firms or engineering organizations, or some of the top professors from Columbia or NYU or Baruch University who may want to also participate. So back to Toshi Murata and agriculture and the SDGs.
It's a food is really a key issue, like SDG target 1 is poverty and 2 is food. As it shows, it's really base for people to sustain their life and activity. It's a really core issue. So that's the reason Food and Agriculture Organization with the United Nations, also World Food Program, also IFAD, is working together to find a good solution. So as Gloria mentioned, we really welcome people like professors, private sectors, and really interested in food issues, come and join us on 12th of April at, as you said, the conference room 12 of United Nations. We really hope everybody, also as Pierpaolo, our president, mentioned, our discussion even connected with European Parliament representative in Milan participate. So that is really worldwide broadcasted through UN Web.
With the whole world.
Yes.
UN distributed by the United
Nations Web TV. Yes.
Yeah. It's very important. I know that one of the Italian companies that's coming, if I remember correctly, they can, if there's a tree, for some reason, if there's a tree that is dying, nobody knows quite the illness of why the trees are dying in a certain area of a particular country. You were talking before with this new type of technology. With a cell phone, you can put it to a sick tree, and that will be taken to Italy, if I understand it, and given to all the top professors in Italy to analyze. what is wrong with this tree that is suffering. And as I understand it, you're hoping to develop it later on with animal husbandry. If a lamb isn't doing well, or a horse isn't doing well, they are working on this at the various universities in Italy to bring it into animal husbandry.
Yes, it's an evolution of telemedicine when we start. Of course, the telemedicine we use at the starting was emergency, but we learned a lot, and so it was also more easy to detect parasite in the plant, illness for the cultivation, also in the animal, and that we simplify in terms of to have the first analysis of the affected plant of just with telephone.
It's amazing. It's amazing
yes,
what you can do. I think this conference is important, and there may be some people who are listening who feel that they're high rank and could be participating, maybe as a participant with you and a speaker. So how and what email will we give them now so that they can be in touch? What's the best email?
The best email is OCCAM.
OCCAM.
@OCCAM @OCCAM again.org.
OCCAM.org, O-R-G.
Yes.
And is there a general telephone number that would be helpful?
We have the website.
Oh, the website. How do they look at the website? That's perfect.
www.occam.org.
www.occam.org. So this is the chairman OCCAM, the president of OCCAM in the conference, and this is Mr. Toshi Murata. And as I understand it, the participants are coming from all over the world, and if I remember correctly, there'll probably be quite a few Japanese coming in from Japan to participate, because every year we've had distinguished Japanese intellectuals. Mr. Murata, thank you, and thank you, Mr. Pierpaolo.
Thank you, Gloria.
And this is for George Wen, World Peace Television, and we hope that you will take seriously the fact we're interested for our audience to participate where they can.